Okay, so in this video, I'm actually going to be disabling my panic button on my remote starter. Now, this remote starter was released around 2004, 2005 from General Motors. And it's your standard key fob, remote start, lock, unlock, trunk. And there's actually different variations of this. Some don't have a trunk. Some don't have remote start, but this is a generalized design for the key fob that General Motors had up until around 2011, 2012. They switched to the that unlock, whatever button that is that ejects the key. But anyways, so one annoying thing that I have with this particular key fob is that it's so easy to press the panic button. And I have done this so many times, I cannot tell you. And it's just by sheer accident, putting my keys in my pocket, dropping my keys on the floor, getting them crunched up somewhere. It doesn't matter what it is, but so many times I have hit this panic button. And my previous key fob, which was the more rectangular one that had the lock, unlock, the trunk, and the panic button, I never did this. So it must be a design thing. Either they wanted it to be easier to hit the panic button, or they just didn't design it very well. But at any rate, like I said, just having my keys in my pocket, this key right here will hit it ever so slightly, and then, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've done it, especially at night, waking up the neighbors and so on. But anyway, so we're going to disable that. Now, it's not going to require any modifications to the board or anything. It's just going to require a piece of tape. This video will also show you how to get to the battery so that you can change out the button battery that's on the inside. Now, they're usually good for about 3 to 5 years of the average use. I just changed mine out not too long ago. But if you notice that your car, you have to get closer to your car to unlock it or remote start it or lock it or whatever, you may have a battery that's going bad. Now, my car, my 2008 Grand Prix, will actually alert me when my key fob battery is getting low. It'll display it. It'll beep and say that my key fob battery is getting low. So anyway, in order to get into this, it's actually pretty easy. If you look, zoom right there. I'll try to focus right in here. Okay, so if you look right about there, you can see in the bottom right portion of the key fob, you can see this little tab right here. See that tab right there? That's actually what we're going to be getting into in order to release the top portion of this key fob. So you just use a flat blade screwdriver and you just kind of wedge it in there. Once you got it in there, you just kind of turn just like that. See how easy that is? So it comes right off. I'm going to use my hands for the rest of it. And be careful not to press down any of the buttons, or you might wake up your neighbors or whatever. But just kind of grab it from the outside, and you should be able to pull it apart. Okay. Now, it'll release 3 pieces. You've got the bottom portion down here. This is the bottom portion. You've got the circuit board and buttons in the middle, and then the top portion right here. This is also a good time to clean this of dust or anything else that might be on it. But you can see there's a little rubberized piece here to act as a shock absorber as well as an insulator at the same time. But anyway, being careful not to press any of the buttons, because now it's super easy to press the actual buttons. What we're going to do is just unwrap, and I like to start at the bottom so that I don't actually accidentally press the panic button. But we'll start at the bottom, and we'll just kind of pull it away, and it should come off. Okay, so you'll notice down here, you will notice that there's actually these rubber circles in the middle. Those are actually conductors, and what they do is they make contact with these portions right here, and they complete the circuit. Because if you look real close, the circuit is actually not complete. okay, you can see where the button actually presses right there. The circuit is not complete. So when the circuit is complete, it sends off the signal, whatever the signal may be, depending on the button that you push. It actually sends off the signal. Now, if you look real close, you can see here that I actually have more contacts here than I actually have buttons. This is for things like you have the some minivans or the crossovers that have the trunk or the rear latch door that latches automatically. The sliding doors, those kind of things. I mean, it's all basically the same internals except for this part here, and obviously this part here is going to be different between cars, but it's essentially the same internals. Now, another thing to note, just out of curiosity, if you are curious, is that the antenna actually starts at L1 and goes all the way around, goes around the back here, jumps across right there, comes back around to here, jumps across to here, okay? Now, it used to be in the older versions of this, it used to be that you could just, there was a little antenna nub right in this area here, and you used to be able to solder a wire to it, wrap the wire around, and get extended range. You unfortunately can't do that with this. You couldn't fit anything like that under here, and this is the perfect length for the frequency that it's needed. So if you were just curious about that, you're looking to extend the range, these already have an enormous range, and if you're looking for anything more than that, you might as well get an aftermarket starter. So anyway, there's the button battery right there, and that button battery is actually pretty easy to get out. If you're looking at the circuit board like this, you just take your finger and you press in. Now, I'm not going to take it out, but you can see how it's sliding out, okay? And then you'd want to use something non-conductive, obviously, but just take your piece of plastic or whatever and just push out until the battery comes out. But since my battery is brand new, I don't need to do that. But anyway, so there's the circuit board at a glance, okay? Now, what am I going to do to make sure that I don't accidentally hit this button anymore? Well, I'm going to be disabling the button altogether, okay? Now, there's a little bit of a safety concern here. They put the panic button there so that you could find your car in a parking lot, or if you really were panicked, if you were, let's say, getting mugged or whatever, you would be able to hit that button. So if you are worried about that, don't do this, okay? It's as simple as that. But essentially, I'm just going to be taking a piece of tape and just like that, I mean just a standard old piece of tape, and I'm probably going to rip this in half, make it a little bit smaller. So here's a smaller piece of tape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just place it, just stick it right over the top, okay? Just like that. Alright, so essentially what I've done is I'm preventing the circuit from being completed because this tape is a non-conductive material. Okay, so that's it. I mean, that's essentially it. Now, all I have to do is put everything back together. Again, be careful when you're putting everything back in like this because you may accidentally push some of the buttons. You don't want to unlock your car by accident and not know it and then have somebody obviously get into your car. So what I usually do for this is just take this back portion, set it in just like that, then set this back on top, pressing on the edges here, and it should snap back into place just like that. Now you will be able to hear, because this camera is right nearby my car, you will be able to hear if I have done this successfully by pressing the panic button, which is going to annoy anybody. Nothing. Yep. Alright, so all set. So now when I put my keys in my pocket, all of my keys that I have here, I won't have to worry about hitting this ridiculous panic button. Now, it's always possible to still hit the trunk button, but obviously I need that. So again, if you actually need your panic button or think you're going to need it or worried that it might come in handy for you, don't do this. So that's basically it. And hopefully this video helped you, and it'll be less annoying for you to actually have a panic button. So if you have any questions, let me know. Take care.